Hello, and welcome to the bonus update for Rogue Trooper. This one is just going to be Encyclopedia entries. The next ones we should be talking about things like plot differences between the comic and the like. So without further ado, let's talk about New Earth. This doesn't look like New Earth, that's because it isn't. It is a black hole. Specifically, it's the black hole around the New Earth system, in the New Earth system. The thing about black holes is that they're warp points that can go pretty much anywhere, and the black hole around New Earth for some reason is particularly prized. Hence 20 years of WMD warfare, which GIs were meant to be a kind of decisive measure in. But as we've seen, and as we will see again, they really weren't. Rogue is pretty much canonically the only GI left, as far as we know. Now Stamels, we haven't seen these in-game, but they're basically mounted very bad-tempered creatures, used as mounts by Nauts when they wish to form raiding parties or the like. Yeah, only their mothers could love them. The wildlife, we haven't seen any of this in-game so far, except possibly some metal-eating bugs. But since New Earth is now a death world, the wildlife has rapidly evolved, as in many sci-fi settings, to pretty much murder anything. GIs can handle most of it, but we'll see. Now moving on, some people commented on Mohawk small children. Well, here's another one! And another 3 from the original 2000 AD comics. This was from the Tor Cyan arc, I believe, of the Venus Blue Jeans story. I'll get into Venus Blue Jeans, Tor Cyan and all that in a later update. But basically, as we'll see, GIs, they mature pretty quickly, they stay roughly the same age for a fairly long time, and yeah, don't screw with them when they're young. Even when they're young. From 2 years, 18 months, they're pretty deadly. So, that's them. Gene Genies, we may or may not see them in-game. These are the creators of the GIs. The thing about the Gene Genies is, obviously, they are not the most scrupulous people if they're going to be playing God, and I will be mentioning that in a future update. Millicom, again, this is something I don't think we'll see, but it is, as noted, a giant space station, where thousands are deployed to New Earth to die every week. So, GIs themselves, one important thing we'll note here is that we haven't unlocked the comic. Another important thing is that GIs are mostly dead. The concept art, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a bit like this, basic model meshes. Now, for low poly models like this, that's not bad, you know? This pretty much tells us what we already know about GIs. One important thing it doesn't mention is that they are immune to most poisons as a result. Notice I said most. Okay. Vehicles, you'll notice we haven't unlocked the art or comics for most of these. Attack hoppers, basically they're low altitude VTOL craft, and they're used as area denial. Black mares, however, are not used for area denial. They are used for crushing anything in the way. Black mares only appear once, maybe twice in the original comic. But yeah, they're pretty big and not to be messed with. Decapitators, well, we've seen them before, their comic appearance isn't that much different, and as noted, they're basically semi-autonomous mines. Drill probes. Now, this is the thing that killed Bagman, and you've already pretty much guessed what they do. Concept art shows a basic drilling machine with some sort of thrust impeller. I'm not quite sure how that works, but here's the info on it. Drop pods. Now, you might be thinking, they'd never send normal soldiers in this, and you would be absolutely right. Specially designed for the GIs. Of course, since the GIs are now all but dead, they are never ever used again. Hell cannons are an interesting one, because in the comic they are known as Hell Streaks, and they're not artillery, as it's mentioned here, except in the fact that they are big freaking guns. They actually act more like plasma laser turrets, as much as that makes sense. Nonetheless, the whole thing that they're incredibly deadly and a shock weapon, that's true. Pillboxes, bah, they're nothing more than an irritation. In-game, and indeed, well, in the comic they're slightly more of a problem. But there were extenuating circumstances there. Okay, finally we get on to the Nords. We'll start with the infantry, who, yeah, they really don't have a good life. They have a short life, but they don't have a very good life. And you can see the whole kind of Germanic fascist idea behind them right here. Yeah, neither side really cares about its troops. I mean, the GIs are sent out in the minimum possible equipment, sent out with the minimum possible equipment they'll need, and Nords are pretty much the same. If a Nord survives for a while, they become a sergeant and lead other Nords from the rear. In-game, those are pretty much the first ones you want to take out. Lazuka troops, in-game, they're pretty much either area denial or an excuse for you to shoot a black mare. There's not much to say about them, they're pretty much grunts with big freaking guns. Let's move on to the Kashan. The Kashan, now, they are never, to my knowledge, depicted with riot shields. This is a pure game invention. But they are, it is true, the elite. Although this guy is not so much an elite as an elite who's about to die. But hey. The Kashan are the Nords equivalent of the SAS, the Navy SEALs, pretty much any famous military group you care to name. They are the arch bastards of the Nort army. And that's pretty much it for this update. Next time we will be talking about other things, like the voice actors, the script writer, and his other projects, and differences between the comic and the game, of which there are a couple. So this has been Jay, giving you a small look into the Encyclopedia, wishing you all a good week. Take care now.